Hi everyone, my name is Srijita, and today I'm going to be making a video talking about why some makeup brands feel emotionally safe while others feel intimidating. Why do people describe brands like Rare Beauty or Fenty Beauty as safe, welcoming, or for everyone? And why do some luxury brands, even beautiful ones, sometimes feel emotionally distant? Today I want to talk about the psychology behind beauty branding, inclusivity, pricing, and what some people call the Fenty effect. Because makeup is never just makeup. It's identity, belonging, social inclusion, and emotional experience. Part 1. What does emotionally safe even mean? When people say a brand feels safe, they usually don't literally mean safe. They mean emotionally welcoming, inclusive, or psychologically comforting. In social psychology, brands can be either belonging or exclusion. Some beauty brands historically created aspiration through distance. The message was, this is luxury, this is elite, because become worthy of it. That can create admiration, but also intimidation. Other brands also market themselves more like communities. The message becomes, you already begin here, and psychologically that changes everything. One of the biggest modern shifts in modern beauty culture was now what people now call the Fenty effect. When Fenty Beauty launched in 2017, the expansive foundation range immediately became part of the brand identity. And this matters psychologically, because for years, many consumers, especially people with darker skin tones, experienced exclusion in beauty spaces. Limited shade ranges send a social message even unintentionally. The message can become, you are not considered. That creates out-group feelings. In-group versus out-group dynamics exist everywhere in social psychology. Who is included, who is prioritized, who is centered, and who feels invisible. Fenty Beauty disrupted that. The brand normalized the idea that inclusivity should not be a special feature. It should be expected. And after Fenty Beauty launched, many brands suddenly expanded their ranges too. Not because the industry suddenly became socially aware overnight, but because consumers started demanding accountability. People noticed which brands had already been inclusive and which brands only changed after public pressure. That distinction matters emotionally. Consumers often interpret proactive inclusivity as authentic care, but reactive inclusivity can feel performative. Why Rare Beauty feels different? Rare Beauty creates emotional safety differently. Their brand focuses heavily on mental health, emotional openness, inclusivity, and more. Even the social atmosphere around the brand feels different. When people watch Rare Beauty influencer events, many viewers notice something interesting. People often seem genuinely comfortable. There's less emphasis on exclusivity and status performance. The brand feels softer psychologically, and that matters because beauty spaces can sometimes feel highly competitive. Rare Beauty shifts the emotional tone from impress people to express yourself. That creates what psychologists call a psychologically safer environment. The brand also benefits from parasocial interaction. Many consumers feel emotionally connected to Selena Gomez because she discusses vulnerability and mental health struggles. That openness changes how people emotionally interpret the brand itself. Price, accessibility, and emotional distance. Pricing also affects emotional perception. Brands like Dior often feel more emotionally distanced to some consumers. Not because the products are bad, but because luxury branding intentionally creates exclusivity. Luxury marketing often relies on status, prestige, and scarcity. That creates emotional distance. Meanwhile, brands like Fenty Beauty and Rare Beauty sit more in the mid-range price category. Still aspirational, but more accessible. And accessibility changes social identity dynamics. People are more likely to feel this brand is for people like me, rather than this brand is about me. That difference influences emotional attachment. Ethics, identity, and consumer morality. Another important psychological factor is ethical identity. Consumers increasingly want purchases to reflect their values. People often feel emotionally better supporting brands they perceive as inclusive, socially aware, and ethical. So supporting brands like Fenty Beauty and Rare Beauty can psychologically feel like I'm supporting something positive, and that creates emotional reward. Meanwhile, some brands have faced criticism over inclusivity concerns. For example, brands like Tarte Cosmetics and Youthforia receive criticism online regarding shade range limitations and delayed inclusivity efforts. For some consumers, when inclusivity expansion only happens after backlash, it can feel less authentic. People may interpret it as reputation management rather than genuine commitment, and that authenticity matters a lot in modern consumer psychology, especially with Gen Z consumers. People want brands to feel human, not just profitable. So when people say conclusion, so when people say certain makeup brands feel emotionally safe, they're often referring to multiple psychological factors at once: inclusivity, accessibility, community culture, ethical perception, and more. Most beauty brands are no longer just selling beauty products, they're selling emotional experiences, and consumers are increasingly becoming aware of how those experiences make them feel psychologically. Because makeup isn't just about appearance, sometimes it's about belonging. End screen credit. Last question: what beauty brand feels the most emotionally welcoming to you, and why? Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.